You are listening to Vitality with Marilyn, a podcast about health, wellness, and all things vitality. Having set herself free from life routines, embraced a healthy lifestyle, and lost an incredible 90 pounds in under a year, Marilyn is now supporting others looking to live their best life. Here to tell her transformative story and engage in enlightening and inspirational conversations, here she is, Marilyn.
Hi, my name is Marilyn, and I'd like to welcome you to Vitality with Marilyn, which is a brand new podcast that I'm launching in the hopes that it's going to speak to you and help you in some way, shape, or form. This is a brand new endeavor. I've never done anything like this, so bear with me as I figure things out on how to be in front of a camera. I've been on a health and wellness journey for the past 8 months. So I started about in June 2021. And so far I've lost a little over 80 pounds. I've gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of appreciation for everything wellness and what it can bring to our lives. And I want to share it all with you. My journey has been so much more than weight loss. It's given me what I feel like my life again. And it's been a great experience for me so far. And I hope you're going to want to learn all about it and how I got to it, and then follow along with the rest of the journey. So a little bit more about me. I'm 38 years old. And I'm a mother of two. I have two kids. One is 9 and one is 11. I'm married for the past 13 years. And I have been very career driven throughout my life. I'm an HR professional, and I've been working in HR for about 17 years now. I'm an expert maybe in human resources, but I'm not an expert in anything health, wellness, fitness, or I'm not a medical practitioner of any kind. So I definitely encourage you, as you go through these things or as you go through your own journeys, to seek help from specialists and experts. I'm a big advocate. I've had many people support me through my journey, and I definitely encourage you to do the same. So I will never pretend to be an expert on this. I'm planning on sharing my own experiences, but will always encourage to have you seek your own opinions as well, because everybody's situation is different. Speaking of expert, this is no different in terms of starting a podcast. I had no idea really where to start or how to go about it. It got a little bit overwhelming thinking about social media and the equipment and so on. So I did what I've done throughout this journey, which is seek the help of professionals. And I found this great cute little studio downtown Ottawa where I am, and found Jacob and his company, which is Down to the Wire. So Jacob is going to be helping me through these episodes and chiming in from time to time. So I am introducing you to the voice behind this podcast.
That's me, Jacob. Hi guys, off-camera voice.
Yes.
No, this is a great story that you've told me behind the scenes, but I want to learn more about it, and I want to take it back to the roots on what got you started.
Yeah. So the whole reason behind it is basically felt like a big wake-up call. It had nothing really to do with weight loss at the beginning. I have been suffering from chronic migraines for many, many years. And about in the fall of 2020, it got pretty bad to the point where I contacted my family doctor and started to talk about it more, because I needed to get it under control. It was getting in the way of my job. I've always been very career-oriented, and it was negatively impacting my job and my ability to do my day-to-day. And it impacted me way more now that I think about than just my work. But so we looked into different options in terms of medications and so on. And I got kind of concerned with side effects and so on. And then decided to kind of explore if there was more to it than just a simple headache. So I went through went through a few tests, so CT scans and MRIs. And when I, the first MRI was for my head, and then I had one for the neck shortly after. But that day where I went to the hospital to do the MRI, the lady had asked me, what's your weight? I'm like, why does she need my weight? But anyways, then provided kind of like the hospital gowns and so on, and told me that I had to remove my wedding band so I could get into the machines because the metal and so on. So get in the change room, couldn't fit into the clothes that were supposed to fit me based on my weight that I had assumed I was at that point because I hadn't stepped on the scale for a very long time. And when I came to taking off my wedding rings, it was a very challenging thing, and finally got it off. So I'm sitting there in the waiting room to go into this big machine and just realized I was really sick, that a healthy person is not obese and with chronic pains needing to go through a machine to see if there's something really wrong inside their head. So I think realizing that I was sick was really the problem, and also putting obesity to the word. I think I've kind of like ignored it for a long time. And like I said, like this podcast is so much more than weight loss, but it's about general weight, like wellness and so on. So after that experience, I kind of the ironic thing is that it was the last migraine that I had, which was the worst one that was triggered by the MRI machine. But to date, I've managed to keep them under control, and really definitely tackled the whole health thing. At that point I was 37. I'm like, this is not going to be my life. So that got me started. A bit of a wake up call. And I'm hoping with this podcast too is like that people don't need to get to the point where they feel really sick to do something. Yeah.
So what was your next move? Like next day you're in the gym? Like, what was the next step?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like that was the haha moment, but there were a lot of things leading up to it. And I have to say, like, physical appearances was never overly important to me. Like, I work with a lot of people and so on, and I never passed judgment. And to me, it wasn't about physical appearance, really. It was about health. Once I put the thought about I need to be healthy, because I've tried to lose weight throughout the years. I've struggled with weight for a long time, but once I've realized that it was really about the health, that's where everything changed. Where I started was basically thinking, okay, well, what do I already know? And I will get more into nutrition and exercise in other episodes, but I really started simple and just think the basic is you need to fuel your body and eat healthy and move your body. So I started small, very simple. I started with what I knew was healthy, and I started moving a little bit more. I mean, at that point, like I started from not moving. I worked from home because of the pandemic and so on. So it was from not moving to now where I'm at, which is I'm very, very active now. So baby steps, and then starting with simply walking and eating what I knew was a healthy food.
Who do you feel like can relate the most to your journey? Is there like a specific target audience you're trying to reach with the podcast, or do you feel like your journey is pretty universal to anyone, regardless of gender, age, where they are in their life?
Well, I'm hoping that different people will take away what's relevant for them. But when I started this journey, I was definitely looking for somebody like me that was going through, these challenges and had quite a bit of weight to lose, and was career driven, a parent, and I didn't find any. So that's basically why I started this. But the biggest takeaway is that this is a very individual thing, and depending on your circumstances and so on, and who you are, then what's going to appeal to you is going to be very personal. So I'm hoping that it's going to reach pretty much anybody, but definitely people that are kind of in similar situations as me is the targeted audience.
Sweet. what can we expect from the show? What can I expect? Who can I expect to walk in here every week or whatever, however often we do this?
Oh, you can expect for me to be very transparent and explain how I got to the point that I am today. I feel like I came across this big thing, and it's maybe the bad analogy, but like I feel like I found the recipe to the best cake ever, and I just want to share it with everybody. So I'm gonna just talk about my experiences with weight loss, nutrition, fitness. I've gotten quite into exercising and so on, and parenting while doing that. And yeah, so speaking about any subject related to it, and I'm hoping that people will want to interact and will want to join in, will want to come in and speak about their own situation and share their story so that people can learn from them as well. And bringing experts whenever is relevant, having people ask questions and so on. So what to expect is really me sharing everything there is to be told about how I feel I got to where I am in a very successful, kind of very healthy manner with a focus on health and wellness in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I feel like there's a lot of different topics. There's like nutrition, weight loss, even mental health and all that.
It's a big one.
XYZ, many more topics. So I feel like you mentioned wanting to bring in experts to talk about that, or just people that you know in certain communities that want to talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I do have people that I've worked with throughout this this journey that I'm hoping will be brave enough to come in. But there's also different experts in different topics that people I know, and I'm also encouraging people to reach out to me if they are expert in a topic that could be valuable to share as well. So I'm not closing any doors right now. I'm starting with my journey, and then hopefully things will evolve from there. Hopefully people engage, and then we can build on that, and also hopefully build a little community of people helping each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like your goal with this isn't like, what's the word, self-loathing, where you're just kind of like, hey, look at me, I did all this. It's kind of more so like building a community, or not building a community, but like creating a space for everyone to kind of share their side of it too.
Absolutely. And this is way outside my comfort zone. And the reason why I started to share it, and I should back it up, but I've kept it pretty private up until about December, and the new year, actually, early January, when, you share, a happy new year and so on. And, I'd be communicating with a bunch of people that I haven't talked with for a while. And some of them are, from my professional network and so on. And I sent a picture saying, hey, look at what I've been up to in 2021. And it's a side-by-side of a Christmas 2020 versus Christmas 2021. And it's like quite the contrast, and maybe we can show it. And that's the reaction to that was amazing. And the questions that came of it and so on. So then I realized having that sharing could have a positive impact for others, which is why I'm doing this primarily. After that, I shared on my own Facebook. I have a pretty big group of people on Facebook, and again, the response was just absolutely amazing. And the word inspiration came up, and that feels a little comfortable just for me to say, because it's just of who I am. But and then I invited people to reach out to me, and a lot of people did. People wanted to talk about migraines, and also gluten intolerance, because I found out I'm gluten intolerant throughout this story, and just weight loss in general, and people asking me for my secret. And I will share my secrets that are not so very, very, really secret. But yeah, the whole goal is to share with others, because the way I got to where I'm at, like, I'm very happy with the outcome. However, a lot of it was a series of coincidences of why I got to where I'm at. Just an example is, like, it's the migraines that kind of that I couldn't bear anymore because of it was impacting my work, and then finding out through that that it was muscular, and that was basically my migraines were really getting in the way of me being able to prioritize my health. Having headaches daily, nonstop, it kind of, one, it's exhausting, and it also reduces your ability to focus on other things. And then from there, trying to figure out how my migraines were going to be, like how to deal with my migraines, I looked at food possibly as triggers, because in some conversation with my boss, I discussed having migraines, and she was like, oh, well, I do too. And I did too. And it was food related. So I brought this up to my doctor and so on. And then I found out I was gluten intolerant that way. I still don't know if gluten really triggers migraines. But when I removed it from my diet, I realized my digestive issues and how like my skin felt and stuff. I definitely am gluten intolerant. And then removing these things then helped me focus on my health and wellness. But again, like there are coincidences. So I'm thinking there's a better way for other people. There's people that are dealing with chronic pains, and they're dealing with inflammation and so on, and any kind of other things. And if we talk about it, and if the right person hears about it at the right time, then they can be like, oh, maybe that's a challenge. And that is part of why I've been wanting to share it, because I was in pain for years for no reason, because the solution was pretty simple. And the inflammation in my digestive system probably really didn't help with my weight. I'm pretty sure it didn't help. So if anybody just gets a little bit of a haha moment, or just like, oh, I should look into this sooner rather than later, then this will have all been worth it.
Yeah. Like, what does it feel like learning all this stuff about yourself?
Well, it's surprising. Like the gluten intolerance is the most surprising part, because I never thought. But then once I'm like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. And the thing is, you don't know what to look for until you're tipped that this could be. Because once I was like, oh, could I have a gluten intolerance? And you Google it and like, oh, okay, well, possibly, because you go through life and things get progressively worse. Same with the migraines, like the headaches. And then until you remove it and you feel better, then you don't realize how bad you were before. So learning this, yeah, it's life-changing. And just as a side note, like the migraines are, when I found out they were muscular and nothing bad was hiding in my brain, fortunately, it required, physio, and I've seen chiropractor, but like within weeks it got better. Like it was pretty simple fix and a big relief as well. Yeah. So learning these things, it's like just a completely new outlook on life. It just completely changed everything.
Do you have like a day-to-day routine you keep up with? Or is it just kind of being more aware of yourself?
Well, knowing like the triggers and so on, it was a big thing. Do I have a daily routine? Yes. I mean, the whole challenge with weight loss to begin with is creating new habits and changing things that you're doing. Like, because we eat every day. We've eaten every day since we were basically born. Well, I guess, or child. And there's things we do on autopilot. Like, again, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, but there's just a lot of things we do on autopilot, and eating and is a basic need that we do, and we have to do multiple times a day. So to have to stop and think things through, it requires a certain amount of energy and thought process. So the ironic thing, I guess, with the gluten intolerance is finding that out was kind of a blessing in disguise while I wanted to lose weight, because I had to think about everything I was eating anyways, because there's a lot of stuff that's got gluten that I didn't realize before. So I had to think about what I was eating anyways, and then actually just pausing and reflecting. So to answer your question about, do I have a routine? Yes, I do. I have gotten kind of the nutrition on track and exercise and so on. But creating that new routine was a bit of a challenge. But once I put my mindset that I needed to get healthy, everything changed. It wasn't about weight loss. It was about being healthy. And it kind of all fell into place from there.
How are you feeling right now?
I feel fantastic. I do. I feel great. I feel better than ever in my adult life, to be honest. And I've heard people talk about energy. You know, if you exercise, you'll have more energy. And you're like, yeah, you exercise, you feel like death. And you're like, yeah, whatever, you know. And one of my friends says like, oh, I wish I was like one of those people who love to work out. Well, you don't at first, but, you know, I am now one of those people that, you know, really enjoy exercising and just eating well because it feels so good. And I think we eat the way we eat because, like, you know, you want to eat what tastes good because you're in that moment, it feels good. But when you know how good it feels to have a healthier lifestyle, you kind of don't want to jeopardize that.
Right. Yeah. The satisfaction after a good day at the gym is better than after finishing a bag of Ruffles.
Well, yeah, it is. It is very different, though. It's I think a lot of people can relate, but I never thought I would enjoy running because again, like it was really not appealing to me before. But I do, and I get it, and I get the runner's high, and I get all of this, and it's just it's a pretty intense feeling. It just feels really good, but you get there eventually, and it takes time. It takes time, and I hope throughout the podcast that that people gain some hope that it's possible, that anybody can do it if they put their minds to it. And I mean, like there could be a range of medical conditions and so on that gets in the way, but that's the thing is we're programmed to, like, our brains protects us, right? So they're saying, okay, this is difficult, or this is different, or this is change, you know, abort, or you know, it doesn't feel good, so we stop and we deviate our energy to something else. But it is completely possible. And the thing is, if you know that it's possible and if you have the hope, then I think that's half the battle. And I think that's why I was looking for somebody who, like me, because if you look at the statistics, they're not really great of saying, oh, if you lose weight, a lot of people gain it back or so on. And this is kind of a bogus stat anyways, because we all know people who's lost weight, and ask them if they've been like surveyed to see if they had like, you know, if they lost or they gained the weight back. So we really have to put that aside and think about everything that it is to gain. But before you've really felt it, again, like, because you don't know how bad you're feeling until you're feeling good, just knowing that it gets better, it will get better. It takes a bit of time, and it takes that energy to, like, not feeling like you're really good at it. You know, we want to be good, but then you start, you know, exercising, it just doesn't feel good, and you're like, okay, well, this is not for me, or something like that. But if you plow through it, it gets there quick.
Yeah. So how do you plan to communicate moving forward with the audience?
Oh, I have different methods that I'm hoping. So this is one way, and I'm hoping people will send me messages and questions, and also people who want to participate either live or we could try and have them on the calls or so on, and also wanting to build a community too. So building a group on Facebook that I'll give more details, so that every time we have a topic that we can have a discussion group there so that people can meet each other and exchange. So I realize that my journey is not going to be something that everybody relates to, but then if there are other aspects to other people's life, and then they can at least have somebody who's going through it. Because the whole thing, as great as I feel, as great as it's been, it's a pretty lonely process. Even though you have, like I had, or I still have, a lot of people around me kind of cheering me on, nobody's going through it with you or the way you are experiencing it. So I'm hoping to create that network, that little community that is going to help support each other at the moment. So that is best.
Looking forward to the first official episode. Do you have any ideas where you're going to go with it?
Yes. So I'm assuming well, let me backtrack that. So I'm thinking nutrition and exercise are topics that people are definitely looking for. So I'll explain that. Those topics are big, so they're likely going to be multiple episodes. I do want to dive into, again, what I did. They're challenging topics because there's a lot of information out there on nutrition and exercise. And I think that's part of what has kept me from getting started for so long too, is like trying to figure it all out. There's conflicting information and so on. So I'll explain what I did and then go from there. There's a lot of topics. You've mentioned a few, like mental health during the process, and really getting to know yourself as an individual is really key to have success. Parenting during weight loss, just things that I found were helpful, things like connecting with music and like finding what's going to help you get through it, and also how to track progress and really reflect on things, and looking at and finding pride in your progress as well. So there's the portion of getting started, and I'm also hoping to reach people that are going through the process and having some challenges around the way, because it's not a linear thing. it's the ups and downs, and I'm still living them. I kind of wish I had started this earlier so I could kind of speak about them as they went, but I will try and reflect on certain key parts of the journey. I'm not done either. I'm getting close to what I believe is my goal, and that's a moving target as well. And then I am going to have some things I'm sure I'm going to go through when it comes to maintenance and overall, like just living this new healthy lifestyle long term.
Any final thoughts for this introductory episode?
Well, I hope that I piqued your interest, all of you at home watching this, and I hope that you engage throughout the process and that you see value. And stay tuned. A lot of things that are coming up. And if there is a topic that you want to touch upon that is relevant, please let me know. I'll be happy to look into it. If you have information to share and so on, I'm also very open to looking at that. So looking forward to doing more, and stay tuned.
Sweet. Please send in questions. I'd love to be the guy that reads out questions from fans. That's
Yes,
always been a goal of mine.
Questions.
Mary from Saskatoon asks, I want to be that guy.
All right. Well, we need to make Jacob's dream a reality. So send me questions, please.
Thank you for tuning in to Vitality with Marilyn. Don't forget to join us on social, get involved in our communities, reach out if you have a powerful story to share, or send us a question you'd like answered. Take care for now, and don't forget to choose active, happy, and free.